All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the River Channel's inaugural match of the season broadcast here at Hudson Raider Stadium of the start of the girls' soccer season. This is the season opener for the Raiders. I have a feeling it is for Stevens Point as well, but we're sure glad to have everybody tuning in to tonight's matchup. We have the Raiders in blue/dark gray and the Stevens Point, I believe it's the Panthers. Yep, in white tonight. We'll see which side of the field they take. Looks like the Raiders will be playing from left to right on your screen for the first half, and the Panthers from right to left. This game was pushed back a day to avoid some nasty weather, the good old-fashioned Wisconsin early April weather. Big snow and rain storm tomorrow, potentially a lot of ice, so quick pivot by both teams turned the game into a day early here, so glad we could make it work. I want to keep everybody safe and sound and not take those long road trips in the bad weather. But even though the bad weather's tomorrow, it is a cold night here. It is chilly, and good thing these girls are young because they don't look like they're feeling it so much as I would if I was out there. So again, really appreciative of everybody tuning in for tonight's game, and should be loads of fun. Here we go. Raiders with the kick, brings it back, and it's going to take me a little bit to get to know this new Raider team. It's quite different than last year. Last year had about 11 seniors, I believe, graduate from the Raiders varsity. So this is a very different looking team, and Stevens Point right off the bat, nice little breakthrough on the left side there, and nice left-footed shot, but sending it wide of the goal, and that was number 3. I'll see if I can get the name here. It's number 3, Amelia Castleberg, for the Panthers on that play. So this Raiders team, as I'm saying, it's going to be a little bit of time to see where they're at. Again, a lot of graduating seniors, and then a number of other players not returning either. So it's a fresh-look team. That can be very positive as well. So here we go. Coming back for the Raiders, though, really high-level scorer, Natalie Ramthen. She's going to lead this team all season long, and a host of other solid players from last year as well. So while a lot left, there's still a lot of talent on this team. And Hudson, it's a great little crossing play there by Natalie Ramthen, as we mentioned her name. But a lot of talent here in Hudson for soccer. So here we go. Again, Raiders get it down, and we're playing kind of coast to coast here. Panthers bringing it down, untouched for a little ways there, but then sending the ball across. And that's going to be a Raiders throw-in on the far side of the field. So non-conference matchup here to start the season, but a good one because these teams typically play each other either during the season or in the sections or regional tournaments at the end of the season. Certainly welcome all of our Hudson fans from around the country, and looks like we've got a nice group tuning in as we speak, so I always encourage you to feel free to drop a note in the YouTube chat of who you're watching, where you're from, and all that good stuff, and we'll give you a shout out. But Stevens Point fans will do the same for you too, because we're appreciative of you tuning in, and know it's a little bit long to get to Hudson for a 6 o'clock game, so Please feel free to drop that in, and we'll give you a shout out at some point during the match, and the Raiders get an opportunity there. But they sail that one over the goal. That's Clara George. Or no, number 4. Yeah, Claire George of the Raiders. Actually, I might have that number wrong. Claire is the goalkeeper, I believe, this year. Still getting to know these girls myself. I may have missed that number. Anyway, here we go. Raiders with a great opportunity there, but just sometimes that ball gets to you too quickly, and you got to shoot it too quickly, and it's easy to put that ball over the goal if you have to just shoot it a little bit early sometimes. Peyton Killian there in the center of the field with the ball for the Raiders, and now it gets all the way back to defender Molly Schrader. Mateo Langenau on that ball with Kate Lickness, sorry. And that'll be a throw-in, and Kate Lickness, junior defensive player, looks like maybe playing a little midfield today, is going to take that throw. Seems like the Raiders are starting to find their groove. That's number 18, Hayden Ahmet for the Raiders. What you sometimes find in girls soccer in Wisconsin is that a lot of girls will play on their club team and not play school ball until their senior year, because that's sort of the end of the road. There's a quick blast and a score by the Raiders. A beautifully placed shot there. I'm going to see if I can see the number. Looks like number 8. Here, I got on my
Hudson Raiders goal! Scored by number 22, Natalie Ramthun.
There it is. You probably heard it.
Assisting the goal goes to number 8, Haley Huntley.
Through the mic, number 8, Katie Huntley with the assist. Natalie Ramthun with her first goal of the season, and I have a feeling you're going to hear that often this season, because she, as a sophomore and junior, was a solid scorer for the Raiders. So Raiders get on the board. They score that first goal of the match and of the season, and the Raiders take a 1-0 lead at about the 5-minute mark. Exciting play there. Great score. Nicely placed shot. Not an overpowering shot, just nicely placed. Tough ball on that kind of shot for any goalkeeper to hit. So kudos to Ramthun on a great shot. Panthers back on the attack. Raiders trying to send that ball out wide. Disrupted, though. And looks like offside's called. And the Raiders will have a free kick here. That looks like number 11, Maddie Krusemark. Hope I'm saying that correctly, with the kick for the Raiders. Peyton Killian receives that ball and takes a hard bounce off her, and Panthers are able to get it and send it up the field, but too far out for their strikers, and the Raiders pick it off and send it up the field themselves. Panthers with the takeaway there, though. It's number 3, Amelia Kesselberg again for the Panthers with the offensive play there. Nice shot, but a little too much defensive pressure and a good play by Raiders goalkeeper Clara George. Yeah, the spring soccer for girls in high school raises a lot of dilemmas for girls in terms of trying to play on some traveling teams and club teams and like that typically play throughout the summer, especially if you live here in Hudson. A lot of those programs are on the Minnesota side that are following a traditional soccer schedule of fall school ball, which allows you to play summer ball all summer. So all right, Raiders had the corner kick there. Didn't get a shot off, but tried to bring it back, and they maintain control. Send that ball across. Comes in the middle, but a little too much. So that is goalkeeper Brooke Weiler, I believe, for Stevens Point with a nice play and gets it out. Raiders pick up the ball and continue their attack. Raiders playing tough defense even in the deep offensive end, which they know is a way to try to keep that ball in the offensive area and increase the scoring opportunities. So you definitely see this Raider team defending all over the field. Mateo Langenau with the ball, or the throw-in. Raiders spreading it around, sending it wide to Kelsey Roeder. Raiders again using all their field and sending it back to the defense who've pushed up to support the offense. Raiders try a little give and go there, but no luck on the timing, unfortunately. And Stevens Point with a nice takeaway, and they're going to send it up the field and see what they can do. But the Raiders disrupt that, and here they come again. Long shot from distance, and it scores for number 13, Peyton Killian. Wow. Caught the goalkeeper a little out of position there. Takes the long shot and kind of places it well over the goalkeeper's head. And the Raiders will take a 2-0 lead here at the 9:50 mark in the first half. William Menzel, good to have you tuning in from Wisconsin Rapids.
Raiders goal! Score number 13, Peyton Killian.
Tuning
Goal
in
was unassisted.
Tuning in to see Amelia Castleberg, number 3, who announced her name a few times already. So she's having a great game, and I'm sure she's going to continue to put some pressure on these Raiders. But thanks for tuning in. All right. Raiders up 2-0. Starting to find their form a bit here and trying to get that ball up the middle, but tough to push it up the middle that close in. And Stevens Point takes it back. Haley Huntley sends that ball out wide, a little too wide, with a little too much pace, and Stevens Point with the throw in here. Quick substitution for the Panthers. And we'll get this game rolling in a second. Just saw a couple ducks flying over, and even though we're going to have a storm tomorrow, that's a good sign of spring. At least that's what I tell myself this time of year. Nice ball all the way across. Langenau's on it, and just a little too far. Matea's got some real speed, so for the ball to get away from her means it was going pretty fast. Here we go. Stevens Point throws it in. Nice little play there by number 11 of Stevens Point, Delaney Schatz-Schneider. know if I said that right, but I hope I did. Got 3 Raiders coming in here at about the 12-minute mark. Raiders leading 2-0 over the Stevens Point Panthers. Thrown here by Lickness. Into number 16, Rowan Deckard. All right. Here comes Castleberg again down the side. Nice ball across, just a little out of reach of number 13, Reese Simkakowski. Or Simsakowski, not sure which way, but hopefully I'm close on one of those. Deep ball up by the Raiders. Here comes Ramthan. She's got some speed as well. She's going to pressure it all the way, and goalkeeper not able to get a solid foot on that clear, so the Raiders pick it up. Again, trying to thread the needle up the middle. Eventually pull it back out. That's Rowan Deckard on the ball, number 16. Deflected off of Stevens Point. It'll be a Raiders throw. Throw in here for the Raiders. Stevens Point again on the tack. There's Castleberg sending it deep. Little out of reach, and a good clear by the Raiders goalkeeper, Clara George. Another substitute for the Raiders coming in. Looks like that's number 5, Molly Schrader, catching a breather. And number 6, Kate Lickness, coming in for the defensive end. She played a little bit of midfield, it looked like, earlier. Now we have Alyssa Vinopal. And I hope I'm saying that right. I got to maybe check in with the coach. Get some pronunciations of these Raider players that are new to the lineup. And but nice play. Here we go, Raiders, little give and go. Langen all on the sideline. Plays it off the defender and will give the Raiders a corner kick. Raiders traditionally have been an excellent corner kick team, whether it's the girls team or the boys team. They capitalize quite often on these kicks. So we'll see how this season goes for the girls. The boys this last fall had an outstanding season. Went undefeated into the playoffs and didn't quite get as far as they wanted in that route, but still a great season, and the girls are going to do their best to match that. That's a nice ball. Sneaks over the goalkeeper, but just timed a little off, and ball sent wide by the Raiders. So a good corner kick attempt there. Really close. That was number 18, Hayden Ammett, with the shot attempt there off the corner kick. Trying to think how far about Stevens Point is from Hudson. It's probably about a 3-hour drive or so. Beautiful area. Toured the university there with one of my sons. He ultimately chose Duluth, but for a lot of the same reasons you'd like Stevens Point. Beautiful nature, lots of good programming, great university, great town. So have enjoyed my trips there as I travel all over the state for work and fun. All right, Point with the corner kick. This is going to give them a good opportunity. Soccer teams love their corner kick options because it lets them deliver the ball right into the scoring area. So we'll see what happens here. Test for the Raiders defense. Low ball. Near post, it sneaks all the way in. That made you hold your breath for a second. But ball gets kind of awkwardly kicked out by the Raiders, and it's going to give actually Point another corner kick. Kind of surprised it's on the far side. Yeah, it should be on this side of the field. So they're going to get a second crack at this. And that's number 19, Isabel Stevens, one of the captains of Stevens Point, gearing up to take this kick. This cold weather affects all kinds of things. Your feet get cold, your toes get cold, the ball gets hard. It's a nice ball. Gets in there. And that. Ooh. Oh, okay. Side judge. Side judge says it went in. It crossed the line. It doesn't matter if it's in the air or on the ground. If it crosses the line, that's a score. And it looks like, oof, that was close. I don't have the same line to line it up with as the side judge, but that was close. I'm going to just back up the replay a second here. Oof. Watching it again.
Panthers goal scored by number 26, Violet Krantz.
Very well could be. I don't have an angle to see it real well. So kudos to Point. They've applying some pressure here. And like you said, corner kicks are a difference maker. That's why you see teams bring the ball down and kind of force corner kicks at times, because it just gives you great opportunities to get that ball where you want it. And Point proved that point right there, and have closed the gap from 2-1 at about the 18-minute mark. And our score now sits Raiders 2, Panthers 1. Again, appreciate everybody for tuning in to the River Channel broadcast here. I'm here with my friend Nikos Wired, who is our technical guru with the camera and the sound and the internet connections, and helped out by our boss, Nate Skoog, for a bit on this first match of the season. Probably a little new equipment maybe here and there and other things, so glad we could bring this broadcast to you. I'm Jeff Ian. I'm your announcer. I'll be here for most of the season. I will miss the next couple games for a vacation I have planned. And unfortunately, the Raiders' season is heavy early on home games and heavy late on away games. But I'll be with you for a lot of these games, as I always am, and into the playoffs. I'm a former soccer player myself, way back in the day, and coached for about 30-some years, and now been the announcer for Hudson boys and girls for about 5 years now, and love the game, and love the chance to bring the game to you all. So thanks again for tuning in. Nice cut back there by Ramthin. Sends it out wide nicely. Left-footed blast. Great shot. Nice save. Nice save by Brooke Weller of Point. And Point avoids that scoring chance by the Raiders. Oh, through the legs. Oh. Not sure how that happened, but holy cats, Mateo Langenau somehow keeps that ball in on the baseline, decides not to kick it off to get a corner kick, brings it in, tries to scooch it across. It goes through the goalkeeper's legs and narrowly gets ejected from the scoring area, and crisis averted for the Panthers. And we're now into the second half of the first half. At about the 21-minute mark, Raiders lead 2-1. Throwing for the Raiders. All right, here we go. Back in action. Stevens Point moved that ball down the field. The Raiders end up with the throw and push it up the field hard. Rampton on it on the sideline here. Sends a nice little ball up to Langenall, who's onside. Played off of Point. Boy, that looked like maybe it went across, but the whole ball has to cross. Balls comes across. Oof. Good play by the Raiders there, and ultimately it's going to be a goal kick for Stevens Point. All right, goal kick here for Stevens Point. Looks like number 19, Isabel Stevens with the kick. Gets a good boot off. Foul from behind on Point, and the Raiders will get a free kick here. It's been a pretty penalty-free match, other than an offsides penalty. So that's our first foul, I believe. And the Raiders will have a kick. They'll be able to do something probably somewhat dangerous here. Nice ball in, right where you want it. It's a good spot. Well placed, and a heck of a shot. And the Raiders put a third goal into that net on the free kick there.
Raiders goal! Scored by number 2, Avery Agrimson. Assist goes to number 22, Natalie Ramfoon.
So, goal by Avery Agrimson, her first of the season for the sophomore midfielder, and an assist to Natalie Ramthon. So Ramthon with the goal and the assist so far tonight. That's a 3-1 lead for the Raiders at about the 24-minute mark now. Good clear by the Raiders goalkeeper there. Point really having luck keeping some control down into the goal area. It's making something happen deep that they're still trying to find some chemistry. Once they find that chemistry, I think you're going to see some goals scored by this team offensively. A lot of game left. First game of the season, always tricky. Ooh, that's a nice little through ball. She keeps it. Oh, kept it a little wide. Sends it across. Nice play, though. Number 11, Delaney Schneider. Elected to not shoot that ball and try to keep better control, and ended up with a good opportunity to try to get an assist there. So can't really blame her for that. Although I think if she'd have just ripped that shot, she may have. But it's all timing. It's hard to say up here. You got to feel good about it if you're going to shoot it, especially in that situation. So nicely played, though. Good penetrating move by Schneider, and fortunately for the Raiders, no goal. Whoa. not a solid clear by the Raiders, and it's set up a dangerous opportunity for Elaine Zykowski of the Panthers, who had about a 20-yard wide open blast and just sent that ball high. So Stevens Point starting to find their groove a bit here. And the Raiders defense getting tested, but holding up. All right, Raiders back on the offensive track here. Pass a little bit behind. We're just seeing the rust. These teams, these tryouts probably were just probably like 10 days ago at the most. So a lot of these girls probably haven't played a lot of soccer leading up to now since last year. Probably played some winter ball, I'm guessing, but a lot of these girls play other sports. And then you bring the combination of sophomores and freshmen and juniors and seniors, and the girls that did playing on different clubs, and it takes a little bit to build the chemistry that you see at the end of the season compared to the start of the season these days. It's not the days where, like when I was younger, that you played on the same team all year long. You weren't going to different clubs and things like that, so you kind of had the chemistry. You knew who did what and where they were going to be and all that good stuff because you played together all season. Now these athletes kind of get spread out a little bit in the off season from school sports. Good and bad to everything. So, but that's why you see a little bit of rust on some of these early games. But still, seeing some really great play and good soccer so far in this match too. All right. Good play there by Claire George. It's a high punt off. Peyton Killian on it. Sends it back. All the way back to the defense. Hayden Ahmet with the ball. We're now at about the 28-minute mark. Raiders continue to lead 3-1. Mateo Langenal on it. Gets it back again, sends it in, comes back to her. She winds up to take a big cross. Ooh, nice little left-footed cross there, though. I love when I see a good left foot on players who are dominant with their right. Ooh, a big blast there. It's a good turn and shot, nicely placed in the upper portion of the goal on the left side. Not quite a corner shot, but close. And that was just nice. She had the chance to take a step, and she did. It's always a gamble. Sometimes you take that extra little bump to set up the shot, and the defense is all over you.
Raiders goal! Scored by number 3, Lily Rubenzer.
She got two nice setup shots there.
Number 2, Avery Adrianson.
Missed who scored that goal. But it was a beaut. Number 3. Oh, Lily Rubenzer with the goal. Nice. Lily's a freshman on this team. What an exciting moment for Lily as a freshman. First varsity game probably in her career. I don't believe she played last year, for the Raiders at least. As an 8th grader, and comes in as a freshman and scores in the first match. She was given enough space to take 2 little touches and set up the blast, and she took it. Won't always get that opportunity, but she took that opportunity and made the most of it with a nice shot. So Sometimes you just take the shot presented at the moment and you're off balance and you don't do well, and sometimes you take that chance to take the extra move and it can pay off. So Raiders again back on the attack. Good takeaway there by number 25, Anna Barden of Stevens Point. And the Raiders will have a throw-in. We're now at about a little over the 30-minute mark of the first half, which means we're down to about 9 minutes left in our first half. Raiders up 4-1 over Stevens Point. A nice contingent tuning into tonight's matchup. I welcome you to drop a chat if you're watching on YouTube. And I'll give you a shout out for whoever you're tuning into. Love to know where you're tuning in from. As of now, Wisconsin Rapids is the furthest person tuned in, because that's all I know. Let's see if anybody is a little further out than that. Big ball across for the Raiders. Sneaks by, but all the way to the goalkeeper. Ooh. Cleared by Stevens Point. Checks in with the goalkeeper. Maybe a little miscommunication there between the two, but again, first game of the season, first half of the season. You get kinks to work out between the defense and the goalkeeper, etc. So glad to see them talking. That's how you fix that. And Raiders will have the throw-in. Oh, great touch by Ramthen. It's number 14, Ella Bast, with a nice play. Goalkeeper elects to kind of punch it out versus catching it. And then Ramthen is there, and she just goes for placement
Raiders
over power.
Goal! Scored by number 22, Natalie Ramthu.
So nice play there. Ramthen with the shot for the goal. And she elects to take a nice, easy shot there and place it. She knew she had the advantage and played that nicely. So just watching the score again. Bass with a nice little chip shot in. Goalkeeper punches it out, but punches it right to Ramthen, who definitely knows what to do with that ball. So Natalie's second goal of the match already, and Raiders now take that commanding 5-1 lead. Troy Rubenzer tuning in from Atlanta. Glad to have you, and exciting match. And Lily's goal was exciting. So, and Clara George's grandma, Ann Victoria, tuning in from Egan. Definitely know Egan. My wife used to live there, so spent a lot of time there. And glad you're tuning in and staying warm, because it's cold out here. Quick turn shot by the Raiders. Nice punch out save by Stevens Point goalkeeper. Looks like maybe a foul on the Raiders. Or an offsides call, actually, is what it looks like now that I see the side judge. And that's going to give Point a free kick here. Big clear by Stevens Point, and Ramthen on it, looking for the hat trick. Brings it out wide. Oh, gets the ball through the legs, the old nutmeg move as we used to call it in my day, and too much defense though in between. Looks like we now have Rob Connor from Ringo's, New Jersey, tuning in to watch Point. Good to have you. And El Dorado, Wisconsin. Man, I've been all over Wisconsin. I'm not sure where El Dorado is. I'm going to have to look that up. But Peggy Perkins, good to have you joining us as well. So either New Jersey or Atlanta. I'm not sure which is further away. My distance gauge is a little bit off, but those are some good tune-ins from around the country, and sure glad we can stream so people who have to travel for work or other reasons don't always miss out on these fun games and times. So here we go. Ball comes back in. Panthers keep pushing. Had a lot of good opportunities, the Panthers have. Just not quite able to get that final touch on it. And that's going to be a trip from the Raiders from behind. And that is going to be a free kick for Stevens Point and a yellow card issued. Not sure who. Let's see. I'm watching the replay right now. That'd be number 6. So Kate Lickness with the yellow card. Foul. Believe she's going to have to step out of the match for at least momentarily, but she'll probably get a break for the rest of the half here. There's about 3.5 minutes left. Raiders sub, Stevens Point subs. And it looks like we have Kate Lickness's grandparents tuning in from South Dakota. Spent a lot of time myself in South Dakota. Dad grew up in North Dakota, and as part of those adventures there, we often found our way into South Dakota a lot, as well as my boys just love the Black Hills. They're both college or older now, but we probably spent four or five vacation trips out to South Dakota or other places and went through South Dakota. So one of our favorite places. All right. Free kick for Stevens Point. This is a dangerous spot. Could shoot the ball, could chip it, could set up for a shorter play. We'll see what they looks to me like she's going to take the shot. Well, plays a little chip. A little misdirection, and Raiders defense handles that well. Langenall's on it, and she's going to carry it for a bit. Sends it up the line to Peyton Killian, who gets around. She's got the spot. She takes a shot. Oh! Just a hair above the crossbar for Peyton Killian. A nice play to get the shot off. Good shot, just a little high, and Point will now have the goal kick. Oh, good takeaway there by Point. It's number 9, Elaine Zykowski. Good ball around. Raiders on it. And just a hair outside of the reach. And that'll be a throw-in for Stevens Point. Down to about 2 minutes left in the first half. When the half ends, we'll take about a 10-minute break. And then we'll be back for the second half of this match. Teams will switch sides. Everybody will get hopefully warmed up if they're here. Get some hot cocoa and things like that. If you're home, you're probably curled up on the couch nicely. Probably some of you in New Jersey and Atlanta have much nicer weather than we're experiencing here. I'm guessing El Dorado, Wisconsin, and Wisconsin Rapids, as well as Eagan, Minnesota, are going to be about the same temperature as Hudson. It's going to be chilly cold. Okay, corner kick for the Raiders. Can they put one more together before the end of the half? That ball's a little low, a little behind everybody. Again, that cold weather and the cold foot, cold ball, it sometimes does some weird things, weirder than you expect, versus when it gets nice and warm out. All right, Raiders back on it. Send the ball wide to Langenau, who lets the ball go by nicely. Does a little quick pass in, like it. Oh, another nice play by Peyton Killian. Nice little move to get open, and she takes a quick shot. Might have been a little too quick. Didn't quite have her plant foot where she wanted, and the turn on the ball sends the ball a little bit high, but still a nice play. All right, 30 seconds left in the half, folks. I'm going to tune off for now unless something super exciting happens, and we'll see you about 10 minutes after the half is over, and we'll see what happens here in the second half.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hudson Raiders.
All right, welcome back, everybody, for the second half of tonight's season opener for the Raiders. Your hometown Hudson Raiders here at Hudson High School, taking on the visiting Stevens Point area senior high girls Panther team. Right now, the Raiders getting the best of the Panthers in the first half with our score sitting at 5-1 with the Raider advantage. But the second half might make things interesting. Stevens Point had their opportunities, in the first half and just couldn't capitalize on a number of them. Scored a nice goal. One of those where it kind of was in the air and was kicked out by the Raiders defense, but crossed the line. The side judge was there to see if that ball crossed the line. Sorry, I think my mic was not positioned well. Is that better? There we go. Definitely don't want to miss a word I say, so that's good. But but here we go. So second half, first game of the season. Lots of, like we talked about in the first half, rust for these girls to shake off. So we'll see what happens here. See, we have a new family tuning in. Eileen Krenz, Grandpa and Grandma Krenz, tuning in from Fort Myers. Oh, Fort Myers. I was just there about a month ago, and it was beautiful for 4 days. We were in Cape Coral. Raiders right off with a shot. Punched out by the goalkeeper, and then blasted by the Raiders. Not sure who that was. I think it was number 16 of the Raiders. Rowan Deckard, maybe, but I could be wrong.
Raiders goal!
Nope, number 14.
Number 14, Ella Bass.
Ella Bast with the goal. Good job,
Goal
Ella.
is unassisted.
Nice shot. Well placed. I think the Stevens Point goalkeeper needs to catch some more of those balls, and that will avoid a lot of those rebound shots that the Raiders have been scoring on. So Raiders taking advantage of a lot of those punch-out saves, and probably 3 goals off that, 2 or 3 for the Raiders tonight. All right, so now we sit at 6-1, about a minute into the first half. Again, thanks everybody for tuning into the River Channel broadcast. It is darn cold here. It's probably about 20. How cold is it, Nikos? What do you got? 28? 30? Feels like it's about...
41?
It's 40. There's no way it's 41. Well, we're inside a booth with no heat, so it probably is about 35 outside, maybe. I'm not buying 41, but maybe I'm just getting old. But I would sure rather be in Fort Myers right now. So, Grandpa and Grandma Krenz, you might remember this weekend. I was there about a month ago, mid-February. It was beautiful Wednesday through Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it got really cold. It was like 50 degrees. And that was our time on the beach. So anyway, love Fort Myers. Was glad. I haven't been there since the hurricane, and really was happy to see that it's getting built up again. Restaurants coming back in. Resorts getting fixed up. So certainly glad to see that, because that's a routine stop for my wife and I in the winter. So glad you're tuning in. Not sure who you're tuning in for. Let's see. I don't know if I see it. Oh, you're probably tuning in for Violet Krenz of Stevens Point. So glad you're tuning in and got the chance to see Violet and the Panthers playing here in Hudson. All right, we're about 2.5 minutes into the second half. Raiders continue to lead by a score of 6-1. It's an exciting day with the Artemis launch. I don't know if I think what I read is that got off successfully, so that's going to be some exciting, fun news to keep track of in these days where the news seems to be less and less fun. So that'll be a fun thing to keep our tabs on as well. So here we go. Good save by the Raiders. I believe that's still Clara George in goal. I need to get to know these girls a little bit better. There's so many new ones this year. The Barbier family tuning in from Plover. Good to have you. Good to have you tuning in. Raiders working it again on offense. Defense comes in hard but clean and makes a nice play, and Stevens Point avoids that shot. Raiders still on it. That's Langan all over there. Can't figure the wind out. I see the flags on the field are not moving, but then I look at a flag across the way, and it's blowing strong. So we have a tree line around a lot of the Hudson Raider Stadium, as you might see on the camera, and that might be breaking it up a bit on the field, hopefully keeping these girls from getting too cold, although they don't seem to mind too much what the weather's like. I'm in my winter coat and hat and gloves inside a booth. Unheated booth, by the way. But nonetheless, I can't imagine wearing shorts out there today. All right, Raiders back on it. Playing the ball back to the defense to number 5, Molly Schrader. Into Hayden Emmett. Spash takes it away, but the Raiders take it back again. Number 5, Molly Schrader there. Peyton Killian on the turn. Nice little nifty move there, and a little chip with the left foot. That's a good save there by Brooke Weiler. Deflects it. Goes out of bounds. Will give the Raiders a corner kick here. All right, Raiders with the corner. I don't know if that quite had the distance that Haley Huntley wanted there, but not a bad attempt on a cold day. Raiders then bring it back out. Again, that's Huntley on the ball. A little through ball by Stevens Point, but a little out of reach. Raiders with some communication there, and goalkeeper takes it and sends it out wide. Clara George. Be a throw in here for the Raiders. Coming up next for the Raiders will be next Tuesday, game against River Falls here at Hudson Raider Stadium. So conference matchup. Probably one of the biggest rivals the Raiders have, with River Falls just being down the road here. Those are always fun games, and sadly I'm going to miss it, but that's the next game on the board for the Raiders. And then a few days later, they're in a tournament for games on the 10th and 11th, and then back home for a game against Superior on the 13th. Then a few more home and away games, and then a lot of away games to end the season for the Raiders, the regular season at least. So the girls' season is shorter than the boys, but they pack in the games, so it should be a fun spring for everybody here. All right, Point on the attack, getting it down from distance, trying to send a little crossing play there, but little out of reach for number 13 of Stevens Point. That would be Reese Simsakowski. Raiders on their own attack, trying to send that ball across, and ooh, that gets close, but well handled by Brooke Weiler. And she gives the ball a throw this time. Taken by the Raiders off the bounce. Ooh, little give and go. Quick play there, but again, Brooke Weiler out and aggressively picks that ball up and takes the throw. Gets it up to number 13, Reese Simsakowski. Ella Bass sends it over to Rampton. Well defended there. Put up the field, but then again, Bast is on it. Sends a little ball up and through. Gets popped up by the defense, but cleared again, and a big clear there by Stevens Point. But eventually falls to the Raiders. We're going to go back on the attack here. We're about 10 minutes into the second half. Raiders continue to lead by a score of 6-1. All right, another ball through and handled by Brooke Weiler. This time she's going to give it a punt. Teammate picks it up. Tries to make a turn. Too much Raiders defense. Feet get hooked and foul called on the Raiders. And that'll be a free kick for Stevens Point. Down to about 30 minutes left in this match. Fortunately for these Stevens Point girls, it looks like they have a nice luxury bus to take them probably 3 hours or so maybe to get to Stevens Point from Hudson, and not a freezing old yellow school bus for hours. Brings back memories from my soccer days in the St. Paul, Minneapolis area as a kid. Here we go. Throw-in waiting after the substitution for Stevens Point. That's number 34, Campbell Speece, entering the game for Stevens Point. I do my best to catch the numbers of players, but it's hard because on the front of the uniforms, the numbers are tiny. And on the back, for girls, a lot of them have a lot of hair that blocks the numbers at times. So it can be challenging to see those numbers. But I'll do my best to try to keep you informed. Looks like for the Raiders, number 15, Kelsey Roeder, into the match. Number 2, Avery Agrimson, back into the match. Avery with a goal and an assist tonight. So a solid start to the season for Avery, a sophomore for the Raiders team. Rowan Deckard playing some tough D for the Raiders, but Stevens Point still pushes the ball up. Kate Lickness there plays it in to Clara George, who gets the clear for the Raiders. That's Lily Rubenzer of the Raiders pushing it up the sideline. Freshman playing strong. Gets a nice little pass off. Quick shot and a score for your Raiders. I think that was Avery again with the score, maybe. Yep. Another goal for Avery.
Raiders goal scored by number 2, Avery Agrimson. Assists on the goal to number 3, Lily Rubenzer.
All right, so the underclassmen coming through for the Raiders. Avery Agrimson with her second goal of the night also has an assist as a sophomore midfielder. And then Lily Rubenzer, the freshman on the team, with a goal and now with an assist. So solid outing for these two young ladies, pushing the Raiders on the scoreboard to a score of 7-1 now. Thank you, Lindsay. That is Amelia Farkas in the goal for the Raiders here in the second half. I hope I'm saying that name right. And thank you for that clarification. And thank you, Lindsay, for tuning in to tonight's match. Amelia as the goalkeeper for the Raiders here in the second half, another freshman. So 2 freshmen on the field for the Raiders. You don't often see that. So definitely fun to see. And Amelia with the punt. It's a big, solid boot. It's a nice play by Kelsey Roeder. A little tap pass up to Ella Bast. Ella coming off a solid freshman season last year herself as a sophomore now, and going to be one of the young leaders on this team. Or last year she was able to play with her sister Sophie, which is super fun to see siblings on the same team. I don't think we have that on this Raider team this year. So I don't know what the odds are, but there's usually a pair of siblings somewhere. Quick breakaway, hard shot there by number 11. Number 11? I think that was number 11. I don't see a number 11. Oh, yeah, there we go. Delaney Schetzschneider with the left-footed blast, but just wide of the post, and no score. So Raiders continue to lead 7-1. Slow roller goes out to be a Raiders throw-in. Nice having a 6 o'clock start because most of the game will be in daylight, if not the whole game. So it's kind of nice. Ooh! Oh, my goodness. Wow. Tough shot there. Amelia Farkas gets a little bit on it, I think. It hits the post. So, again, Stevens Point getting their opportunities. It's a game of inches like most sports are, and that's cliche to say, but it's darn true because, again, that shot, if it's maybe an inch or two to the right, that's going in the goal. And just off that inch or two, and that gets to be the difference on a number of plays and scores in each game. All right, working on getting that ball in. Luckily for these girls, we have a nice contingent of youngsters around the field collecting the balls that go out of bounds so they don't have to chase everything. Oh, that's a nice play. Raiders with a little kind of a settling play, but also a pass at the same time. Very nicely done. Good takeaway there by number 2, Catalina Leon of Stevens Point. Pushes that ball up, and now they're back on the attack. Lots of Raiders defense. 3 defense closing in on that ball. Oh, good play there by number 15, Kelsey Roeder. Kelsey, as a sophomore, had some time last year on the varsity as well, so she's bringing some experience to the field. Going to now take the throw-in. into Rowan Deckard. Ball up the field, just gets over the defense, but another defender behind to get that ball out. Stevens Point, I think, with a little more tight passing on the offensive end. I think in the first half wasn't quite so tight, and like kicking more to some spaces or predicting where people are going instead of popping your head up for a quick look, because they're getting a lot more passing combinations here in the second half. And I don't know if there's a personnel difference or what, but definitely seeing a little tighter offensive scheme here out of them in the second half, which is resulting in a stronger time of possession and some solid scoring opportunities. So Amelia Farkas picks that ball up. She's going to kind of take a little review of the field, let players move down. She's got a big leg. Wow, that punt went good 60 yards or more. So no wonder she waited a moment. Players need to get down the field to take full advantage of the leg there. Be a throw in here for the Raiders. Nikos, I don't know if I'm getting old, but now my toes are getting cold here in the booth. I definitely wasn't expecting that for tonight's game.
Weather says it feels like 30.
Feels like 30. That's about accurate. All right, I can buy that. If it's 40, feels like 30. Good play there by the Raiders on the sideline, trying to see the number. She made a nice move. I think that's Lily Rubenzer. And got her foot hooked and tripped, so the Raiders are going to get a free kick here. Looks like Haley Huntley maybe with the kick over there. I can't see the number. Or Kate Lickness. I think that's Kate Lickness, actually. It's going to be like a corner kick with a little better angle. Kind of behind the crowd, but that can be working. Little chip over. And settled by Brooke Weiler. And Stevens Point will have the punt. We're now down to the last quarter of the match, 20 minutes left of the match. Raiders continue to lead 7-1, although Stevens Point has definitely applied some offensive pressure and just unable to find the net. So contingent of Stevens Point players coming in. I can pick one. Joy Schuler for sure that just came in, number 1. Quick throw in here for the Raiders. That's Kelsey Roeder with the throw. Cleared by Stevens Point. Sent out, popped back up, tried a little give and go, but the Raiders were in the way. Agramson with the ball sent out, and nice ball, another punch out by Weiler. This time it gets away. Raiders queue up. A lot of defense there. Weiler's coming out for it, picks it up. Nice grab by Brooke Weiler and sends the punt low up to her teammate. Nice pass there. A little push-off foul there on Stevens Point will give the Raiders a free kick deep in their own territory. I believe that is Kelsey Roeder preparing for the boot, and she gives it a ride up the field. Nice header there out of Stevens Point. Number 2, Catalina Leon. Looks like we got an offsides call on the Raiders. That'll end that offensive push. Or maybe I read that wrong. Let me see. I'm watching the replay. Guess I don't know what the call was there, giving the Raiders a kick way far back. It must have called a foul of some sort. I was not tracking that far back from the play. Nice play up the line by Stevens Point there. Roeder picks it up. Sends it over to Kruzmark. I don't know if that's the wind I hear, but I'm hearing something howling through the booth area here. Throwing here for the Raiders. We got about 5 substitutes coming in for both sides. Backup goalkeeper coming in for Stevens Point. So I'm going to guess that is Chloe Meadows entering the match in goal. So out of the 5 subs, that's the one I'm going to make the call for, but that's a pretty big sub. About 15 and a half minutes left in the match. Again, sure appreciate you tuning in. For those of you that are the Hudson Raider fans, we certainly appreciate you tuning in, and just know that we typically broadcast all the home games and often a number of away games as well. So I believe you can tune in on YouTube and or Facebook. So certainly welcome you. You don't always get I don't think you get this commentary on Facebook. So if you don't want to listen to me, which might be the case, then tune into Facebook, I guess. But thanks for that commentary too, Fritz. Not sure if that's your name, but that's good to know. It's early in the season too, so I know Stevens Point has a good conference there to play in, and I've seen a lot of good. Despite the score, Stevens Point has played a solid match here, and they'll tighten a few things up in the next game or two probably, and I have no doubt they're going to be very competitive, and these two teams may see each other again in sections or regions or whatnot. So lots of good battles there, offensively and defensively. Stevens Point really making the Raiders work that ball around. Raiders showing some patience. That's also good to see. Nice play back. Oh, nobody home. Kind of the classic. Everybody over pursued. Because you don't know where they're going to put the ball. But you always like one person. I always try to coach my players that one player needs to hang back kind of around the edge of the box to pick up those pass backs that usually everybody is over pursued, but it's awfully hard, and human nature says follow the ball. So here we go. Stevens Point pushes the ball up. A little pressure from behind. The Raiders will have a throw in here. That's number 7, Estrella Caruso with the throw. Down to about 13 minutes in the match here. Nice play there by number 3, Amelia Castleberg, who's had a solid match today. Gets the ball up. Be a throw in deep for Stevens Point. A little substitution here for Point at about close to the 68-minute mark. All right, another substitute coming in for Stevens Point, and be a goal kick for the Raiders here. And Amelia Farkas preparing for the kick. She's got a big goal kick leg too, so that's fun to see. Raiders get the turn and try to push it up the field out of the defensive end. Well, thank you, Peggy Perkins. I love it. I work from home and spend a lot of time in my basement on my computer, and so it's great to get out and have something fun to do, even on a cold night. So thank you. We appreciate it. Also, these matches are saved in perpetuity on the River Channel River Channel YouTube channel. So if you ever do miss a game, of the Raiders at least, you can always catch the matches there later on as well. So, and for Stevens Point, if any of your family missed the game and they want to watch it, they certainly can pull that up off of the River Channel YouTube site to watch the game as well. It's good aggressive soccer. I love it. Nothing dirty, just good aggressive shoulder-to-shoulder pressure, a little bit of physicality, which is excellent, and I just love watching that. Queuing up a long ball there. Now at about the 70-minute mark, 10 minutes left in the match. Stevens Point again on it. It's a nice take, but just a little out of reach for Amelia Castleberg to catch up. Number 11 for the Raiders, Maddie Krusemark, was there with the clear. Throw in here for Stevens Point over everybody's head. Krusemark on it. Tries to push it up, but again taken by Point. Point again on the attack. Nice cross across. But there's Amelia Farkas playing very nicely there. Timed that ball well, came out aggressively, and saved the play. Close play for Stevens Point. Number 11, Delaney Schetzschneider. Little nice feed there, gets by. Yep, nice. Watching the replay again. Again, that law of the inches, right? That was about 6 to 8 inches, and that could have been a goal. All right, here we go. Raiders on the ball. Took a quick peek at where El Dorado, Wisconsin was, and seeing it's just south of Appleton, it looks like, so south of Oshkosh a ways, but definitely know that area. I've just not seen the El Dorado sign, so now next time I'm out there, I'm going to have to cruise through and see if there's good little cafe or place for lunch maybe. lot of good action here in the second half. Back and forth. Not as much scoring as the first half, but some good opportunities for both teams. Oops. Yeah. Farkas, I think, got maybe a little mixed up by the lines. These football fields have multiple lines. The yellow line is the goal box. There's a white line for the 10-yard line. And I think I have to think Amelia was thinking the white line was the box line, and she used her hands outside of the box. Point tried to take advantage of a quick shot and put it over the goal, though. So they had a good opportunity there. I'm not sure if the quick shot was the right one or not, but you go with the moment. It certainly could have worked out great, but sailed it. So Raiders back on the, well, I guess Stevens Point back on the attack now. They've taken it back. They've really upped the momentum here at the end, trying to pour on and put another goal or two here at the end. Raiders kind of holding off the big push. So Stevens Point definitely showing that they're shaking off the rust. That's a big boot again from Farkas. It's a real advantage when your goalkeeper can kick the ball about halfway down the field on the goal kicks and punts. Estrella Caruso with the clear there. Raiders on it, though. Down to about 5 minutes left in the match. Raiders continue to hold the 7-1 lead. Ball comes back to Farkas, who gets the boot up the far sideline. Little hit from behind from the Raiders. That's definitely a foul, and we'll give Stevens Point a free kick at about midfield, but that's going to let them put it into a good scoring area potentially. Pushes it up. Oof, kind of a low ball, so Raiders able to kind of pick that off and try to work it back up. We'll give and go there. Nicely played. But Stevens Point defense holds strong here. Push up the sideline, nice ball. Raiders sneak it through there. Can hear some of the fans there. Got actually a pretty good fan contingent here for the Raiders in the student section. Down to about 3.5 minutes in the match. Stevens Point back on the attack. Showing strong effort all the way to the end. I love it, despite the score. Says a lot about a team and where they're going to go this season for sure. Throwing here for Stevens Point. About 3 minutes left in the match. That's number 22, Kyra Beversdorf with the throw. Ball comes all the way through, but Farkas is there to pick it up. Gives it a boot. Nice play there for the Raiders. A little send it out wide. Down the line. And Stevens Point puts that ball out of bounds. Will be a Raiders throw-in deep in their own offensive territory. Down to about 2 minutes left in this match. So, again, I'm going to give one final thank you to all of you, and thanks to my partner Nikos here for excellent broadcast. Look forward to the rest of the season for the Raiders, and be tracking Stevens Point as well. Hope they have a great conference season, and hopefully we'll see you for a rematch in the playoffs at the end of the season as well. Raiders go for a through ball, but nobody home. That's going to sneak all the way down, but nobody's picking it up, so Raiders are going to sprint for it, save it, get a nice cross. It's over the goalkeeper. Nobody home for the Raiders, though, and Stevens Point gets the clear. Now down to about a minute. We'll wish safe travels to all of our Stevens Point guests here, and sure glad we moved this game to today because it sounds like tomorrow's going to be pretty nasty, and hope
1 minute in the second half.
Hope everyone who lives up here drives safely tomorrow and avoids any drama with the weather. Those of you in Fort Myers, of course, you don't have a lot to worry about, so you just enjoy your sunny days down there. Looks like the Raiders are going to pull this one out. Score will likely stand at 7-1. We'll see, about 30 seconds left. Good start for our Raiders. They'll hit the conference matches next week, so that's when things become extra serious. And a week of time to work out kinks from tonight's game. And should be a fun season. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. And good luck, everyone, on the rest of the season.
4, 3,